Hey guys, so I wanted to wrap up my my E3 sort of videos. Obviously, you know, like I said, the hotel had shitty internet, so I wasn't. My plan was to put out conferences as they were happening. Here we are, 5, 6, 7 days later, and I couldn't do it because I had shitty internet over there, and I'm just now putting together all the footage. So hopefully you guys are liking some of the footage that is coming out. But for prosperity's sake, I don't care if it gets 1 view or 3 views. I love you, Bill, Jack, and Susie. Right? You guys, just posterity's sake, so that when people go back in previous years, well, what did Joe think of the other one? So, Bethesda, Nintendo, and Sony. I had other Joe watch these 3, so he'll be here as well to give his opinion as well. Joe, and you weren't able to make E3 this year, because why?
I was in a family trip.
Yeah, but he will be. Hopefully, he'll go next year if we find it's worth going and still going. It's almost always worth going, so we'll check it out. Okay, so let's just jump right in it. Like fuck all this other stuff. So, let's start with Bethesda. What the hell was that? That's fucking bananas.
I don't know what's going on with that.
Fucking bananas. I don't know. It was just like a video. They just played like a video. There's kind of no point really if all they were gonna do was sort of a a big long video, sort of like Nintendo Direct does. But here's the thing. I actually heard that they were gonna stop doing press conferences. I think I was talking with Pete Hines himself, VP, the guy who did the press conference, or I was talking with somebody, and they were thinking about not doing it. Well, they should have not done it if that's all they had to show.
Yeah, because I just felt like they just pieced together old shit they got. It's like, all right, let's just put some footage. Bam.
Put some footage out, some VR stuff for fucking, you know, Fallout VR. We already knew was coming. They did do Doom VFR. So these are VR games. I'm glad that Bethesda, though, is supporting VR because we have all 3 headsets over here. So, okay, that's fine. But, you know, what you're like, hey, you know, those cool games we do. You remember Elder Scrolls? You remember Morrowind? You know, we're putting that in ESO, and I heard ESO is much better these days, but, you know, I haven't gotten back to it. But, you know, they kind of stumbled, and then they did this Creators Club. No! 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 Valve did this shit.
What the fuck was up with that?
And they had to cancel that because of the backlash, these sort of paid mods, and it's like, people make mods because they love the games. And honestly, you know, do those people deserve to get money? Yeah, and I think Bethesda's maybe a little bit better than Valve's, or idea where they're trying to get a select few in and only trusted people and this and that. But I'd much rather, if I enjoy a mod, pay the modder directly. Like a donation, because the modders have a lot of donation buttons and stuff. I want them to have 100% of what I give. I don't want to give over.
Like, you did an amazing job. This is yours.
No thanks. I mean, why do they need this, Joe, other than nickel and dime us on different little things that they could already put in the game? Now they're going to put on mods, and they show it off. What do they show it off with? Fallout or Skyrim, or paid mods in a 6-year-old fucking game?
Yeah, they basically what was it? They had gold armor for one of the crabs, the mud crabs.
This is sick.
Yeah.
This is just sick. I mean, a lot of the mods that are out for those games are already out right now. I mean, how many more creative mods can you get? And now we have to whip out our wallets and paid credits and all this other stuff. I'd rather just donate directly to the creators, but whatever. I don't know. Maybe we'll see whether it's a good idea or not. I think it's a bad idea. I think it's sort of create a little bit of backlash, and I don't like the idea initially. What do they do? Elder Scrolls Legends, don't play it. There's a phone version coming. Skyrim expansion. They showed off Skyrim for Nintendo Switch. Jesus Christ. How many freaking versions of this game are we gonna get? Oh my God! When they announce a new Elder Scrolls, Joe, it's gonna be epic.
Be fucking amazing,
right? Because they're leaning so hard on their previous games. They showed the Zelda Master Sword and the clothing for Zelda and how the amiibos work in the game. But again, this is a 5-6-year-old game, and there are already mods for that. Fans have already created that in Skyrim. So, but this one's official. They're doing a Dishonored 2 expansion pack, Death of the Outsider. That was one I didn't get to play.
Sadly, I've never even played them. I've never
Yeah,
played
yeah,
Dishonored.
same here. Dishonored, never gotten to play either one all the way through. It's one series that, you know, we look to you guys to tell us about. Quake Champions. I'm not really big into Quake. I was never big into Quake. You know, that comes from the Tribes era and the Quake, the fast gameplay. Never a huge fan. There are two big ones. Was Evil Within 2, which I don't really care about, and it was more video. I couldn't really form an opinion on it. Right? What did you think of the Evil Within 2?
The first one kind of disappointed me. I thought it was going to be a lot scarier, so I'm hoping this one ramps it up a bit. It looked a little bit better, but
it did look a little better, and so I was like, these two things I don't care about, Evil Within 2 and Wolfenstein. Maybe I'll go to the press conference, and there was all these rumors of Stargazer, this sci-fi RPG, and like I wanted to get in, right? And I go there, and there's this line that wraps around, and I'm like, is this public or press? And they're like, we're all press. And I've never seen a line of press.
Bullshit! Show me your credentials.
Yeah, but they were doing this like hardcore security thing, and then I look, and I'm like, what's the big deal? And they got like a carnival thing of a jingy, you know, like Bethesda land, or I saw like a Ferris wheel. I don't know what I saw, but it wasn't very elaborate. So, but basically, all these people waited hours and hours to get in, and then I think they even let public in from another side, and they let them all in to what? Stand there and watch a goddamn, you know, a video. So I don't know. I think they probably shouldn't have done it this year. Wolfenstein 2, though, I came in not caring, and then I came out thinking, okay, actually that does look pretty cool. Wolfenstein 2, you know, basically Nazis are running America, ordering strawberry milkshake and all that shit. I want to fucking shoot some Nazis, you know, and play in that world again as that character. So we'll see how it works out. I did get some hands-on time with Wolfenstein, actually, and I really enjoyed it. The opening level, he's literally in a wheelchair, and he's like, it's freaking awesome, dude.
Damn.
Yeah, I was like, all right, this is the most creative wheelchair level of all time. If it may be the only wheelchair level of all time. So I was like, that was pretty cool. So yeah, I think that they kind of did a press conference this year because they had to. You know what I mean? They felt like they had to. They probably shouldn't have. But the reason why is because next year, you know, they're probably going to show off Elder Scrolls, you know, mainline game, right? So Bethesda sucked this year, probably easily the worst of them all. I would probably grade it like a 5 out of 10, right? Average, right? There was some good stuff, some bad stuff. No cringy stuff, at least, except for, you know, the fucking bananas. That wasn't really cringy because it was fucking bananas. It was like this little cartoon thing. They're like psychedelic. I don't know how that fits into the game, but whatever. So that's Bethesda. Moving on, let's do Sony next. What do you think of Sony?
I actually like that one way better.
Way better than Bethesda?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Here's what I thought about Sony. I think Sony kind of was a little limp this year. They've been winning previous years, last year, the year before that. This one, I think they stumbled. I think that they pretty much just slapped a bunch of trailers together, just played a bunch of trailers, and they had all the, you know, sort of the music and the orchestra stuff again, but it just, I don't know. It didn't. They had technical difficulties at the beginning, at least the stream that I was watching. Yeah, I don't know if on YouTube it was fine. But yeah,
cut it out.
Yeah. So I mean, they started off with Horizon Zero Dawn, an expansion pack. We never got a review out for that. Probably never will until the sequel. Sorry about that. I constantly get you know, requests for that game. Gets fucking annoying. You know, but Days Gone was what they went into next. Which was
that you want to play another zombie game?
No, God damn it! I mean,
but it looked. Honestly, right. I was like, this is kind of different.
Maybe Joe's going to convince me to play a zombie game. It was different. Joe, you're going to have to do a better job to convince me.
Look, you could act like Daryl. Daryl's a fucking badass.
Yeah, you're right.
It had a Walking Dead feel.
It did have sort of a motorcycle Walking Dead
feel. Yeah, you get a cool motorcycle. And the Horde.
Zombie bears, a flood of zombies that are actually in the game. All right, we'll see. We'll see, guys. You want me to do one or what?
Yes.
Monster Hunter then was next, and you know, I've never played any of the Monster Hunter series. I think I like dabbled in one of them, but I felt like it was real grindy. It was not for me. This one apparently is massive, no loading screens, drop in, drop out type of co-op. And hopefully maybe this is the one that I will come in on and kind of see what's going on. So Sony had good games, I'll say that.
Yes.
But there had none of the extras, none of the passion, none of the interesting stuff. They did a remake, an HD re-release of Shadow of Colossus. Why? It's already been re-released, you know. This is a re-release, but I guess they're redoing all the graphics and stuff for people that haven't played it. I haven't played it all the way through, so again, maybe this is where I come in. So you see how Sony was good for me, but yet I didn't feel like they killed it in previous years. They did Call of Duty World War II. Nothing really new shown off there. Again, Skyrim shows up for the PSVR.
Yeah.
My God.
All up in your face.
You know what? But still, like, good, actually. It's just a little too late. You know what I mean? If we would have got this earlier, then fine. It would have been exciting. But I'll play it. You know, I need more for that PS VR just to kind of. They showed off a bunch of VR games. Star Child, which is like this platformer.
Yeah.
So what's the point in that if it's a platformer? You know what I'm saying? Why is it a VR game, Joe?
No.
Final Fantasy 15 fishing. What the fuck is that?
They first were fishing. All right, I was like, all right, cool. Then they're like fishing some more. I was like, fishing some more. Is this a fucking fishing game? That's it.
Final Fantasy.
So yes, it is.
With the boys, the emo guys. But I did like the Inpatient. You know, that horror game where you know, like doctors examining you. That might be cool. Me and Joe love horror games, and if it's in VR, it's even better most of the time. So looking forward to that. And then there was like a mouse VR. But moving on, I think one of the best ones that they showed off there was God of War, because this is literally the first God of War ever we're going to play. I mean, even the God of War guys tweeted at me, you know, because I was like, this is the first God of War I'm going to play. And then they tweeted that snake at me. I was like, I love that kind of ancient language stuff.
What does it say?
You wants to help us!
Man, I just walk around my house saying that shit. I said that in my Total War video,
That you possessed.
I am possessed. I do get possessed by demons every once in a while. So God of War was cool, but we knew that was coming, but at least we got a little bit of a date on it, sort of early 2018. And again, it's like, damn, man, a lot of this stuff is 2018. 2018 is going to be awesome. Detroit Become Human. You know, here's where it did the reverse for me. I was excited about it, and now I went, oh, I kind of backed off because, like, I didn't want it to do this whole androids versus humans thing. I wanted it to be where you're an android, and it just so happens to be an android, like a replicant, like Blade Runner or something. And yeah, you know, you're an android, but you investigate stuff, and you investigate
peaceful,
murders.
Or you could be violent.
Sure, right?
Violent.
Violent, trying to take suspects out, cracking their necks.
Fuck yeah.
But no, you know, I wanted it to be sort of like that police game, but now it looks more like it's like, oh, now we want our rights and all this other stuff. And so I don't know. That may be a detriment to the game in my opinion, or it may actually work out for it. But you know, look, you know, quick time events, the guy has a reputation of doing a lot of quick time events, but hopefully there's more gameplay. Destiny 2 trailer, I mean, we've seen Destiny 2 already, so not a really big reveal or a big get or anything. Of course, they've got exclusive stuff with Destiny, Sony side. I don't know how much they pay for that, but they got some, you know, they've had that. So, you know, my opinions on Destiny, you know, I'll put it out there in the gameplay video that they let me record footage for, which it barely let me. You know, NVIDIA had to go to bat for me because, I was so mean to Destiny. Anyways.
It's not your fault.
I know, right? I wasn't even all that hard on it either. I think it was because I was punching Corporate Commander and they thought I was punching Bungie or Activision or something. It's like Corporate Commander is a character on my show. Whatever. So Spider-Man PS4 exclusive. So
I loved it.
That was really good. Really good. And I got to see a demo of that, an extended demo from what you saw there. And, you know, people that are complaining about QuickTime events, shut the fuck up. Because you have it, well, I understand your concern, but you just don't understand because you haven't seen, like, the rest of it. This is a open world game. You know, go anywhere, do anything. And then it's accentuated. it is punctuated by these moments that you couldn't get any other way in a directed cinematic experience, and it works for Spider-Man because he's so free-floating and so moving around there, and so in that sense it works perfectly, and it provides an experience unrivaled and unparalleled in open world games, that you can get that kind of directed details and cinematic experience within an open world game that's usually very hands-off and camera all back. So you're combining the best of both worlds. You're basically taking Spider-Man 2, one of the best Spider-Man video games of all time, combining it with superior gameplay, reminding me of course, Batman. Everybody's saying Arkham Spidey, right? But hey, I think Spider-Man actually kind of started that shit first in the other stuff, but Arkham made it better, so now they're borrowing each other. But I think it's even better here because Spider-Man, you look, he's constantly using like the levels
using everything. Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
I was like,
his gadgets
cool. This looks fucking cool as shit. Like, we're talking 9, 10 potential here.
I hope so.
Almost a whole new movie, so it feels Spider-Man. It feels good. Guys, don't complain. Let's not freak out about the QuickTime events, until we actually get our hands on it and see if it's excessive and then that's the whole game. It's not, clearly. So yeah, that was the best thing. But again, we knew about that. I think they teased that last year too. So again, very average, sort of up and down. None of the passion that I saw from Ubisoft, who I said won E3 and who had all these really cool things and surprises. No real surprises over here, and no real huge impact. So, Sony, what do you think? Did they, where would you put them? I'm going to give Sony a final verdict of probably a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Slightly above average, you could have pushed out a 7 if we got something like, more exciting. Like, where was The Last of Us 2? You fucking teased us last time.
I was wondering about that because we saw her playing the guitar and everything. I was like, all right, show us some more.
Yeah, man, you show us gameplay, then you would have jumped 7, 8, and then give us one more of an amazing title, and now you're doing it. But nope. So yeah, Sony, a little disappointing. Joe, what do you think?
From those 3, I'm gonna say Sony was the best.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That is including the next one we're about to talk about.
Including this next one, which this next one is, let's see, a Nintendo. Angry Joe talking about Nintendo. Who's going to shit on you? Fuck you, Joe. No, actually, Nintendo does the Nintendo Direct. They've always done this kind of shorter shows where they show off videos and stuff, pre-prepared. So this year I thought they did a very solid job. I came in expecting not to be impressed or wowed or anything. And I think they kind of went above expectations for me because I thought this was going to be an off year. We already know what's coming out, but they had a little bit of surprises. And it would have had, and they did have some big surprises, but those of you who are freaking out and salivating and drooling need to bring it back because honestly, I'm rating it on the show and the Treehouse afterwards. I'll include that in there because they also have this big, long Treehouse event where like they play the games and stuff like that, and they announce another thing there. But when you include the show and you rate it by the shows, you need to taper it back. So Nintendo, I think that, Nintendo is kind of set up to win it, right? Because, Microsoft, Sony, right? And so Nintendo, up the bat here.
It's like, we got this, guys.
We got this, guys. And I think they hit one, but it was like a one or two base hit, not a grand slam or anything. Yeah. So they came out, they said Rocket League on Switch. What more do you need to know there? It's Rocket League on Switch, though it is cross-play for everyone across like different platforms and shit. So that'll be good. I need more stuff for my Switch. Don't really use it outside of Zelda. So Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Haven't yet got into this series, so want to see what it's about. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Couldn't really understand, a whole lot what was going on in the trailer because I haven't played the previous games, though I think it was even confusing some fans, but I'm willing to try it out. What did look genuinely awesome and cool was Kirby. They had 2 big ones. They had Kirby and Yoshi. And these are 2 brand new games. I think they're just called Kirby and Yoshi. I mean, not like you know, they're not using numbers and subtitles. So these two were really cool. The Kirby game was awesome. They did this Yoshi had this cool mechanics that you'd see like the flip side of everything. It was sort of like
it basically reminded me of, what was it, like Little Big Planet or something?
Yeah, Little Big Planet a little bit, and then Paper Mario kind of had that sort of thing, but it was a different one. This one you can flip it all the way around, and you can see the flip side or whatever. And I thought that was really cool, really creative. The fact that Nintendo still finds ways to be creative, and even more so in the last title we're going to talk about, I'm so impressed with how they keep innovating. Fuck it, we're just talking about Mario Odyssey, right? They just find these ways to keep making Mario super interesting yet familiar. I hope this is going to be, you know, like a Mario.
They got me hooked in one scene.
What was it?
The T-Rex.
Ah, I know, right? It fucking looks awesome.
I was like, what? I could take over that?
Okay. As we're talking about it now, I think maybe Nintendo is doing a little better in my mind than actually when I first saw it. But you can like possess you can possess traffic cones, possess fucking enemies, and everything gets like a mustache. And I like mustaches. Sorry, Joe. But if Mario possesses you, then you can get a mustache too. Joe can't grow facial hair. Anyways, but on the disappointing side, but yet still exciting, was Pokemon Tournament, the tournament fighter thing. Not excited. I'm not gonna buy that. But they did say core Pokemon game Switch. We're already working on it, you know. But that's all they said. There's not even a logo, nothing for it. So that is a long way away. I think it's probably 2019. Then they were also talking about Metroid Prime or Metroid 4, Metroid Prime 4.
Were they talking about it, or they just showed a logo?
Yeah, they just showed a
logo. Yeah, they weren't talking about it.
See, that's why we had to taper it back. I was like, next. They didn't even hint at what the story is going to be. Is it going to continue the story from the previous Metroid games where you have that, you know, well, I'm not going to spoil it or anything.
Give
but
some more juice.
You know, so yeah, they didn't show much there. They had what else? I got hands-on with Fire Emblem Warriors, and honestly, I was a little disappointed with it. It kind of felt like a generic Dynasty Warriors, and Dynasty Warriors is on like 7 or 8 now, and this kind of felt like Dynasty Warriors 2 because all the animations were simplistic and the same. And I know people are crazy excited for Fire Emblem anything, but this one was a little disappointing to me because I didn't have sort of the connection with the characters. And even if you do, it does seem kind of disappointing. Then they showed off the Zelda stuff, just in case you didn't see the Zelda stuff on, you know, Bethesda's. But then they showed like all the DLC coming, and this kind of DLC, it looks interesting. They've got what is it? The Trial of the Sword mode, which is sort of where you work your way up with like you have nothing, and then you slowly work your way up this gauntlet thing. Hero's Path mode, which again there was nothing shown, so I have no idea what it's gonna be at. But I do like this Master mode, this hard mode, where it actually seems to sort of change the game. Not just, oh, the bosses are stronger and you're weaker, but gameplay changes and tactics. The way they attack you is different, and the way they appear on the levels are different. So I was impressed by that. And then finally, Mario+rabbits. They wanted to mention that. But nothing really new that Ubisoft didn't show already, because it's more, you know, Ubisoft's game with Nintendo's characters. And then, of course, the excellent showing of Super Mario Odyssey, which I could make for some interesting gameplay. And, yeah, I mean, there was no real, like, Nintendo 3DS stuff. Like, they didn't really mention that. But they did in the Treehouse talk about
I wasn't at the Treehouse.
You weren't at the Treehouse?
So
no?
I didn't know.
All right. Well, they did say there was a new Metroid game coming for the 3DS, too. So that was exciting for some people and everybody that are big Nintendo fans. So I think even Nintendo fans are like, yeah, it's a good show. But they weren't like, oh, it's the best show of all time. Even they have to admit. Because I always get hate from Nintendo people. But so where would you put these?
That was my second place.
Second place?
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bethesda.
Yeah, I'd have to say.
Sorry, you're last. Last.
I want to give Nintendo a 7 so that it's first, actually, for me, between Bethesda, Sony, and Nintendo. I think Nintendo won it amongst those. I want to give it a 7. I was thinking about pulling it back to a 6 just because they showed too many fucking logos and not enough stuff. But the fact that they're still being creative with all of their licenses, and to be honest, it's the same fucking thing every year, but in new games, you know what I mean? The new characters. But somehow that's not a bad thing. 20 decades later, it's not a bad thing because they keep coming up with these creative ways and creative games. So, all right, guys, that was sort of our wrap-up of the last 3 press conferences that we didn't get to do individual videos on this time around. But next year, promise, maybe we'll have to do like, have a command center and me, and then I'll submit information to you, and then you upload it or something, and then buy badass internet, like buy a little hub or something that we can take with us.
That's probably a must.
Yeah, so because the internet was shitty as fuck, dude. I couldn't. It was like 24 hours or 3 days on one of the downloads to download one of the press conferences to cut it up. So. All right, guys, so that was what we saw in the last 3 press conferences. I hope you enjoyed. Because I got 32 games and not all the games I got gameplay footage for the gameplay, I'm just putting those videos out individually. But for the other stuff, I have to find a way to talk about it all. So it's going to be an hour-long vlog. Don't care if it gets 50 views. But for those of you who are interested in some of the games that I saw that surprised me outside of the big 3, big 4,
check it out.
Check it out, guys. All right, guys. So that's it, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.